How you doing, sir?
Just fine, and how are you?
Good. Today, as we're getting started, I want to talk about, a couple of people have asked about manifestation, but not just manifestation, rapid manifestation, or being able to expedite manifestation. What are your thoughts on that?
I'll give you 3 words. Say them often. There's only God. All things through all. Right here, right now. If you'll feel after that till you find it for yourself, you'll have all the answers you need to live a nice life. But it only takes you showing up. You have to practice what you say you know, what you say you believe. And without that practice, you'll never succeed in actually enjoying what actually is left for you to enjoy. I mean, it's all about being joyful, isn't it? Everyone's looking for, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. I agree. It is about being joyful. So in brainin about manifestation and being joyful, then how does one begin the process of expediting that manifestation? Is there something, a state that they need to be in? Is joyfulness the state they need to be in?
Yes, you're to be in the state of receiving because you're told, choose this day. You're given choice to choose this day. What is it that you are choosing to think about feelingly, because that's your world of everyday experiencing. Now, I know if you want a certain thing, then think from having that certain thing. I mean, isn't that what you do if you order something on, say, from a catalog, pay for it, and you're expecting it? Well, that's what you do when you pray. You expect an answer, and you are always answered. Every prayer is answered. If it's not what you want that you got, you expected not to receive it, and your prayer's answered and you didn't receive it. Look, things are made by mind. This whole vast world is made by mind. We're given to choose this day from what's already finished. The creation's already finished. You're creatively choosing from what's already finished. All you're doing is asking for what you want, and then be it. See, Scripture's been telling you all along, all the way through all the stories, be it. And that's the whole thing. Just be it. Think from it, not of it. Because that's the difference that makes the difference, wouldn't you say?
I would. So one of the listener asked the question, so what's the benefit from, let's say, thinking about a thing one time or thousands of times if you already have what it is that you're desiring?
Well, actually, you see, that's still thinking of it. I'm actually having you, in the theater of your mind, you see yourself enjoying what it is that you're asking for. You actually see yourself, you feel yourself doing, being, and having what you're asking for. See, that's what signals subconscious mind to create your world of experiencing. Remember, it's all as within, so without. So it all starts with you. And that's, whether it's good or otherwise, it all starts with you. You see, the thing of it is you're only dealing with one power. So it's just which way are you thinking, feelingly, about what? If you get that straight, the rest of it just falls in line. You already know all of this. It's just, I mean, you left a message for yourself so that you would awake to the message that is your message. You left it for yourself. I am with you always. I will never leave you. Omnipresence. What more do you need to know? You just need to practice it. You practice sitting in the silence and feeling after what you've just heard. I mean, it's not really that labor intensive, but, and also don't fall asleep on it. Well, I did that a lot.
Fell asleep?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But the thing of it is, that's really okay if you fall asleep in that state of mind, because then you'll pick it up as a dream. But then that's just another dream, because this that we're sharing right now is also a dream. And you're told to dream the dream. Why tell you to dream unless it's productive? But it's productive of whatsoever. That's really something you really want to kind of tune in on, because you see, if you're having problems, then you're dreaming them up. You're dreaming up the problems you're having. God's not challenging you with any kind of that, although they say he is, but he isn't, because he gave you choose this day. And since he gave you choose this day, he's not going to interfere. He's not going to be involved. Your decision-making is your business, and that is your business, is minding your business, thinking feelingly from what you now, you say you desire it, will now be it. I mean, in your mind, over and over and over. Isn't that what children do? I mean, and we're told to become as little children, to enter heaven. That means you got it straightened out. See, a little kid, he's got it all straightened out. When he's hungry, he lets you know it. When he wants to go to sleep, he just goes to sleep wherever he's at. I've seen kids sleeping in such positions, I wonder, how could they even be comfortable? And they're sound asleep. And so are we.
It's true. You know, and you're speaking about thinking as a little child. And I think that a lot of times with people, you said it earlier, it's very simple, but we complicate it. And I think, like, for example, this person's question was saying, okay, thinking about it one time or many times, if it has the same effect, you know, then why does one benefit over the other? But if you believe it, you don't have to keep repeating, as it were, like Jesus said, vain repetition. If you believe that you have the thing, you think about it, and as Neville says, it will be like a orgasm of sort. There's a release, and you let it go. Would you agree?
That's absolutely. He said it perfectly, and you just repeated it perfectly. It's the way it is. It's exactly the way it is for you. You're thinking ahead of your evidence. Do you know what you're thinking ahead of the evidence you're experiencing? Because if you do, now you can correct it, because you are thinking ahead of your experiencing. See, that's a point that is so, it's elusive. But if you'll focus on it, see, that's what all this is. It's a little self-discipline to actually be able to sit in the silence and actually contemplate. And if you do that righteously, you'll just slip off into meditation. And there, you're setting yourself up to be free, or whatever you're thinking about. But that's what you want to watch, because, you know, you're told you receive not because you ask not, or that you're asking amiss, but you're still asking. See? And you're receiving for your asking. So I get it all straight. Wouldn't you say?
I would, and and you bring about you're axing. So if you're operating axing from a double-mindedness, then you're axing amiss, because you really don't believe that you have what you say. So you keep repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating, hoping that if you say it enough, that manifestation is going to take place. But the truth of the matter is just the opposite's going to take place. You're going to have more of the thing that you keep asking for, believing you don't have. Correct?
That's exactly it. I mean, it actually is yourself pushed out. Emotion, movement out from what you're thinking feelingly about, you're creating. But not actually creating. You're choosing creatively. Let's put it that way. Because God tells us creation's already finished. He did it, and it's done. Now he gave you permission to choose from, and whatsoever is the word, so that leaves it wide open. And you're told, as you think, you are, you do, you have, you be. So if you're not paying attention to what you're allowing yourself to entertain as thought, then that's you denying you. And as we're told, all denial is self-denial. So if you feel you're being denied or left out or left behind or whatever, that's you thinking so. Stop it. I mean, change your mind, change your world. And the first does the second. If you just change your mind, your world is changed automatically. And as a matter of fact, everything is on automatic. It really is. All of it is on automatic. As I told you, there's only God. He's all things to all, right here, right now, this moment. All things to all. And things, all things around you, everything. All of it is out of man's mind. That's what he's chosen. That's what he focused on. That's what he paid attention to. And what you're paying attention to, that's what you're going to be experiencing. The idea is keep it lovely and a good report. Wouldn't you say?
I would. So, many of these questions all stem around people being able to control the exact moment of their manifestation. But you and I both know that certain things have an appointed time. As a seed, when you plant a seed into a ground, you can't immediately pull that seed up and say, why hasn't it grown yet? Would you agree?
Yeah, well, that's you're denying yourself. You pull it up to see it, and then when you pull it up, you killed it. And that's what you do. You either get lost in thought, which is, like I said, anything from uncomfortable to disaster. It's just being lost in thought. But one lady said, well, yeah, but when I get lost in thought, I hear beautiful music. And I said, well, then you're not lost. You're choosing what you're thinking. See, that's the difference that makes the difference. You're in control, but you have to step up and take control. You got to show up. He tells you, if you turn to me, I'll turn to you. So where do you need to go? Who do you need to consult with? He says, I'm right here with you. Omnipresence, isn't that right here, right now? The thing of it is, the church has kind of made God like a far-off thing. You see, and he's telling you, hey, I'm right here with you. I suffer with you, but you behold me not. So he's right here, right where you are. And he's suffering what you're suffering because he gave you choose this day. And you say, well, but I didn't choose this. Well, then God made a mistake to give you something you didn't choose for. And I don't believe that. And I don't think you do either. You think so?
I absolutely agree. I don't believe that. And he's given us the choice to choose. Even the how we choose. And if we're operating from a place of fear, then, of course, the thing that you're trying to attract, you're really repelling. Would you agree?
Yeah, it's one power. You understand? It's one power, not two, one. And which way are you looking? If you're looking to the west, you'll go to the west. If you're looking to the north, you'll go to the north. You're looking at the negative, that's what you'll involve yourself in. That's how you get caught up in other people's nightmares sometimes, because you're listening to what they're saying. And it isn't involving you unless you pay attention to it. And what has your attention has your life. And if you don't want to be tied up like that, then don't pay attention to it. agree with them. Oh, yeah, well, yeah, okay. You know, it's kind of a begging off without saying something. But that's what you need to do. You need to consider that other people's problems, when they're telling you their problems, well, they're actually setting themselves up for even more problems. But now they've got you thinking about it, and you don't need to think about it. So you just mark it off as it's they themselves are makers of themselves. Isn't that what it is?
Absolutely.
That's it. They themselves are makers of themselves. Yeah, I mean, someone asks you for help, that's one thing. But, you don't want to go out and asking people, everyone has one of those people you don't want to ask them, well, how you feeling today or how it's today or something. Because they'll let loose on you like a medical library. Yeah. Well, actually, too many people, that's all they have to talk about. Their aches and pains. And then they wonder why they have aches and pains. This is not judgment in any way. It's just telling you exactly what Scripture's telling you, that as you think you are. What are you thinking about? Because that's creative. Rather, it's lovely and of good report, which you're told to make it so, or it's negative. You dream up little scenarios that you didn't enjoy the first time it happened, and here you are years later, dreaming it all over again. Let it go. You're told, let go and let go. Just let go. Let it go. It ain't going nowhere. Just let it go. You separate yourself from those ideas. And you can do so. You're told you can do so. Change your mind, change your world. Isn't that what that is?
It is.
That's it. Change your mind, change your world. And the first does the second. So you're set free by your asking. There it is. Feel after him and you'll find him. You being free. What would it be like? Feel after it and see. Because that's the only way you're ever going to have it, is you feeling after it. Because you have a valid say. And you're saying your valid say moment by moment, which means you're creating your world of experience, thinking ahead of your evidence and feeling it ahead of your evidence. And that's what you experience. And someone will say, well, what I didn't get me in a situation like this. No, maybe not yesterday or within your memory, but you did it because if you received it, if you're experiencing it, then you did it because God told you to choose. And you're about choosing moment by moment, setting yourself up or setting yourself free. And it doesn't depend on what anybody else thinks. What do you think? Because it's as you think you are. Think about it. And then think from it. I think that ought to cover it.
And I appreciate what you just said, and I'm going to touch on something that you said briefly. You said feeling after it is the only way you're going to have it. And a lot of times when people are praying, for example, they want rapid manifestation, they want it now. Normally when we want something now, we're operating from a place of desperation. Would you agree?
Yes, the thing of it is that wanting it now, you see, is possible. If you're wholehearted in your asking, believing, receiving, it is now. But man's very, very slow to change his mind. I mean, I know you know that. It is very reluctant to change. So it's going to take a bit of discipline for you to actually take the time to sit in the silence and review what we're telling you. Wouldn't you say that's the way you get it?
Absolutely. And going back to what you just said, a person can manifest it. Now, matter of fact, now's the only time that you can manifest. Now, the materialization will vary from person to person, as you stated, depending upon how committed they are to the process. Would you agree?
That's it. That's what you do. You commit yourself to a process, to a situation, to a fulfillment, and that fills your mind. You're excited to think about enjoying what it is you have desired. Look, everything is going to change. This is a world of change. It's a world of ideas, attitudes, and change. But you're given to choose the change. See, there's an awful lot to religion that you don't even need to know about. That is, at the moment. Because actually you do know about it. But bringing it up when you're not prepared to hear what they're saying, then it just goes right over your head. And that happened to me for years. But to actually focus on what it is you're hearing, and it takes reiteration and reiteration for you to actually make a mindset of what you're hearing. You can agree with it in a moment, but if you don't open it and quicken it and follow through, it'll go away. So you have to hear it again to remember what you had said was worthy of your attention, but you forgot it. And that's man's only problem. He can't remember that far back or the things that actually he's not even sure what actually happened to him when it happens to him. And he's going to argue himself out of it right away, because to accept it is also to accept responsibility. And that scares the hell out of a lot of people. Wouldn't you say?
I would. You were talking earlier, and you said, think about it. And you said, not only think about it, think from it. And that's the key to manifestation, any manifestation. When I decided to have breakfast this morning, I made an intention. I said, I'm going to make breakfast. I'm going to go out, blah, blah, blah. Then I went downstairs and made it. But the breakfast was already made in my mind. I just had to go through the process of making the breakfast. And that's with any manifestation. If a person decides on a new job, a new career, a new relationship, once the decision has been solidified in one's mind, they only need to go through the process of the manifestation. But the moment they made it, it was created. It was done. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. God said it. Creation's finished. What you want is already finished. But you have to show up to claim it. It's all of this is our inheritance. God gave himself completely. Not in portion. He gave himself complete. I suffer with you, but you behold me not. That sounds to me like he's right here. And I believe he is. And you'll believe he is if you think from it. Because that's the whole idea. The hearing it again and again and again is that each time you hear it, you'll add something to what you already knew. But you did already know it. It's just that you've never awakened to what you actually know. And that's what you're being encouraged to do. Seek and you shall find. See, it leaves it wide open. It didn't tell you what to seek, but it told you what you're going to find, what you're seeking. Feel after him, and you'll find him. That's you. Doing, being, and having your highest. And that's what you'll experience if you'll be faithful to hold on to that idea. You'll have it. Wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. You said a second ago, you said all creation's done. The only thing you have to do is show up and claim it. And what many people are not doing is showing up and claiming it. Would you agree?
Well, if they don't have it, then they didn't do it.
Absolutely.
Actually, the problem is that people go at that set in the silence, like they're in mourning. It's not. That's not. We have had holy, holy, holy shoved down our throats so long that it separates you from God. You agree?
I agree.
I mean, I'm not saying it isn't holy, but I'm saying that that's the wrong idea. It's like driving something between you. It's not real. You're not real when you're not thinking from. Thinking of is self-denial. I don't have it. If you can change that much of your thinking feelingly, you'll begin to see little evidence of it. And if you'll build upon that, well, once you start getting the benefits, you get excited. You don't need the feeling that being left behind. You have a feeling that you can go forward, and you can. What is your intention? What do you intend to do from this moment forward? Change your mind, change your world. That's it, isn't it?
It is it. And I want to go back to your holy, holy, holy. I think that stops so many people. You said it a second ago. That's the wedge between you and God. And it's so true because holy, holy, holy keeps God out there. And until you realize that God is within and you and Father are one, and you can have what you say, and matter of fact, you have what you say, then you will start getting the manifestation that you're seeking. Would you agree?
How many people say they're holy? See? How many people say they're holy? Well, if God is with you, how much more holy could you be?
Absolutely.
That's the way, when you sit in the silence, you break all of this down to something you can absorb instead of going over your head. Until I actually took up contemplation and meditation, I never had a feeling of having arrived. It was all elusive. But the moment you start contemplation and meditation, you'll feel altogether different about what you heard, and you'll begin to understand what it means. Like Neville said, it's not secular history, it's divine history. It's not what has happened, it's what is happening right here, right now.
Adding upon that, the right here and right now, whoever you are, it's happening in you. I like to say that from Genesis to Revelation is your story. Would you agree?
Yes, that's it. That's it. If the whole story is about you, holy, holy, holy is you, right?
Absolutely. You're standing on holy ground.
That's it. Wherever you are, you are.
I want to add this in. Somebody had made a comment that God only answers the prayers of holy people. And I told him that's incorrect. I said God answers all prayers, no matter who you are. And he took offense to that. And so a whole conversation basically came about because of that. But that's the thing that people need to understand. God answers all prayers. Would you agree?
Actually, God answers all because all are holy. If God is with you, and if he's with you, he's with everybody, and so everybody is holy. That's what you're trying to be drawn back to, being holy. But that's not what we're doing now. Now we all got different parts and situations and confrontations and whatever that keeps our mind filled so that we don't take the time to allow ourselves to self-examine ourselves, because, like it says, the unexamined life isn't worth living. And they wonder, why me, why this, why no? There it is.
By the mere fact that you're asking why, you're setting up for more of the why. Would you agree?
That's the way it works. As you think, you are.